Hello. The last time I gave David Weiss's Flat Earth Clock app access to my location, it was almost 3 years ago when I went to the marina here in town. And at some point in the probably recent past, every time I would go into the friend finder to see who might have signed up in my area, it always seemed to move my position around on the map. When that location randomization was introduced, I do not know, but I also don't recall seeing my position moving around randomly. I didn't make any connection to what it might signify, but it turns out that it was a behavior that was significant after all. Recently, the group known as GlobeSec put out a list of vulnerabilities, and one of those vulnerabilities was user locations are not adequately obfuscated, permitting trivial reversing. Having paid for David Weiss's Flat Earth Clock app, I thought I would put that vulnerability to the test and to also quantify when his app updated your location on the map and when it did not. I wanted to take advantage of a foreseen opportunity during one of my upcoming trips to visit family out of town, so I spent a bit of time working on a test plan that would let me run through a series of experiments as efficiently as possible. I have an iPad and an iPhone, and both have his app installed. To use the friend finder on both devices, the way it was coded when I paid for the app, I ended up creating two profiles, or rather, to use the friend finder feature on each, I had to enter a username. As I used the same screen name on both, the name that appeared was tied to its respective device, and I ended up having two dots on the map. In an update sometime later, David Weiss added an email to the user profile, and using the iPad as the main device for the past few years, I logged into the friend finder on that and rarely used the iPhone. Thanks to the recent security debacle that started in October of last year, I started to pay more attention to the Flat Earth Clock app again and noticed an interesting peculiarity. When I logged in to my phone, it logged me out of the iPad and vice versa. At that point, I had strong reason to believe that the email-based profile could only support one active device at a time, and that can be for GlobeSec to quantify and release in the repository when they get around to it, but it certainly points to the fact that the database is a hot mess of a bad design. In order to avoid a profile collision between my phone and my iPad for my tests, I created a secondary profile for this occasion on my phone. That should hopefully help Dave feel a little bit better, resulting in his total user count going up. On the day of my road trip, I took both devices with me, and I stopped at several gas stations as I headed to and back from visiting my family. And at each location, I gave permission to the Flat Earth Clock app to get my new location on both devices. I went into the friend finder a number of times and took notice of the location each time I did. To give you an idea, here's a demonstration of how the location changes every time you go into the friend finder. I should also point out that even if you disable the location access to the app, it still changes your location on the map, although each time it does, it seems to do so at or near your last known position and only at certain fixed offsets. I can also confirm that your changing position is going back to Dave's server and is visible to others, not just to you. So whether you grant the device continued access to your location or not, it will appear to others as if you're updating your location. That will signify that your account is active. This is again simply making observation from what Dave's official app reports and is not hacking. So like I said years ago, anyone could, if they were observant, use his app for stalking purposes. By watching exactly where I was positioned on the map compared to my real location, it did not take me long to realize just how insecure Dave's location approximation is and how GlobeSec is correct in saying that the reversal is trivial to do. Some of the results from my tests provided useful information as the most recent version as of February 15th, 2025. The pattern of behavior seems to be as follows. Uninstalling the app and deleting all the associated data followed by a reinstall and giving access to your location seems to remove the device's position from the map. Although if you do that, it is still strongly advisable to do that only from a public place. If you did not turn off access to your location, it is not clear how often the app sends your new position to Dave's server, but it seems every time you go into the friend finder, it will randomize a previous position. Frequent use of the friend finder seems to provide anyone observant with enough data points to get a much closer fix to your real location. I passed my findings on to MC-Tune and Globesec, so we might get more details from them about that later. I'm going to show you where I was when I took several of those readings, in addition to the various positions that Dave's app reported. And based on the various changes in the position, I was able to calculate a new estimated real position, which happened to be very close to the original position where I was. One last note, as a developer, I am both amused and appalled at how the app could remain such a hot, steaming pile of dog vomit that people don't ask for their money back. That's going to be it for now. Thank you for watching, and if you like the video, you know what to do. And with that, I'm going to see you again in another video soon enough. So bye for now.